Well, you know, I'm really excited to see what happens here. I know Traversity, they're really going to try to bring the pain later on, but right now we have Martin's team. That would be Gravity. These are the guys that are high theory craft when it comes to the game. They pick apart everything. They go frame by frame in videos about the game to see what it is that like Eclipse was doing during the finals in America. So we'll have to see how they do. I know Boop's team, I know they hate it when I call it Boop's team because it's actually Affentera's team, but it's fun to mess with these guys. The Jacks have been #1. The only time they lost is when Boop wasn't playing. So we'll have to see if they can keep the pressure up. I've got a feeling, though, that Jacks are going to take this handily. We might even end up with a blowout initially.
Yeah, and we can see them now. Jacks, they're getting warmed up. We'll take a look at their opponents here in just a second. But we can see as well that these players have plenty of space to play with here. And this is the thing that we really want to emphasize in this game as well. It's a really cool intersection of both video games along with physical activity that we really haven't seen. We're really opening up a new frontier, as I said before, with regards to competitive gaming that we really just haven't seen before. And it's really, really cool because these players not only have to be good at the game, but they also have to watch themselves physically here because it is a very intensive game, and some of these players, they'll work up a sweat while playing this.
Oh yeah, you have to actually manage your water intake. I saw that we were going around picking up empty water bottles as people were practicing and putting out new water. It really is taxing, and a lot of us are slowly trying to figure out how to become endurance athletes in order to play, because you regularly play like 6 hours worth of playing this game at a time. And there's lots of weight loss stories about people who got into this game, lots of people getting more mobility, and then people trying to figure out exactly what they have to eat before a match in order to maintain mental clarity and physical composure.
Yeah, so it's going to be Team Gravity versus Jacks as our first match, and it's going to be starting, folks, in just a couple of moments here. Like we said before, we have the players in the arena now, so it's just a matter of getting them readied up, and then we can jump back into it, and I believe it is time now to leap into it. So let's get into our first semi-final here for the European Regionals of the VR Challenger League for Echo Arena. It's Team Gravity versus Jacks, and Jacks will be playing on the orange side. Our blue team, I believe, is going to be Team Gravity for our first match.
Yeah, if you watch here, you're actually going to see more than likely. I know that Team Gravity's been working really hard on their joust, but as I mentioned earlier, Affentera's team, the Jacks, have actually really worked on how to squeeze out a little bit more juice out of their joust. Watching the minimap, yes, they beat them handily, retain control. No, they let it go.
And that's And this is the joust right here. This is the initial battle when these two teams launch out, try to build up as much speed as possible, and more importantly, get control over the disc now. As we can see, the orange team quickly looping themselves around over here towards the blue team side of the arena, but thankfully the blue team defends it for right now, and they clear it back out to the other side. Yeah, really great.
Completely to the other side of the arena, which is really good because the momentum was there. They maintained control after the joust. That initial fight over the disc brought it all the way downfield and had an opportunity to dunk it, even punched out a few people, but as you're hearing those punches ring in your ears, that's everybody getting knocked in the head. This is a move that you can do to hit a player in order to make them stop for a moment. You see another one there. But then you're also invisible for a moment, so you get a free shot if you can do it. Makes you lose all your momentum, and you have to drop the disc.
It's a nice movement there from Slyn and the others there on the orange side, but it's not going to be enough for them to get control of the disc quickly enough. Blue team's goalie will be able to clear it, get it back to the other side. And now we do see VR Jersey picking it up once again at the midfield.
It's a good midfield position. I think on this team, generally, it's Martin III who's running a midfielder. VR Jersey is their main striker, so he's going to try to push up and play aggressive, while Zogger, their defender, is actually going to try to keep the disc on the enemy side, or at the very least, once it's on his side, he has to run down the goal using a slingshot maneuver. That's where both players stack up on top of each other, and he uses their momentum to throw off and get way down to the goal in time.
We almost just saw that again there. Slyn almost moving in there to knock out the blue team's goalie and open up an opportunity for a goal itself, but not going to happen right here. Boop again, able to clear it away just before he gets punched out there by one of the defenders set up currently for the blue side. Now, though, Boop has an opportunity to score here. You can see, oh, wait, no, he intercepts it this last second. Can he get it in? Yes, he'll have to do it in close range. So he's only going to get 2 points, not the 3 points he'll get for a longer range goal, but it's good now, and it establishes dominance here now for our orange team at the beginning of the match.
But they made him work for it. Right there, that was actually a move we often refer to as the body block, and that's what he did to steal the disc after the goalie took it, but then he moved his body out of position so that when the goalie went to reach for the disc, he ended up getting a handful of leg, and he was able to get it in there. That's why he was trailing behind him. And if you catch somebody off guard, they won't realize what's happened, and then in that few seconds, you've got a free shot before they can climb up you and punch you in the head, which is what the move there would have been.
All right, well, we'll take a look at Team Gravity's perspective here as they launch themselves out of the gate. Unfortunately, they're not going to necessarily win the initial joust. It does end up going over towards their side of the arena, and we'll quickly see members of Jacks trying to move in to set up a goal for themselves. Oh, that's going to be a little bit difficult here. You can see Boop going to get knocked out very quickly. However, some revenge comes in for Slyn, but he's going to lose control over the disc. But his teammate will move in here, and we will be able to see Boop getting back control quickly. Let's see, he's going to go for a longer toss just to clear it further down the field, and it will end up relatively close to the blue team goal.
It was a heavy stunning round so far, too. I heard the players talking about that. Yesterday, we noticed that they weren't stunning near as much. And then earlier in the hours today, they were saying that they were really working on dialing up the number of stuns. Now, in the European League, we've actually noticed that a heavy stunning team doesn't necessarily win, but those seconds that you put a player out add up. And if you actually continually stun the other team, you can effectively remove them from half the game.
So Jack's trying to set themselves up for a goal. Nice save comes out, however, from the Team Gravity goalie. Just barely going to keep that under their control. However, they're still in trouble here. The disc is very much under the control of Jack's right now, and they're going to bring it right back around for another attempt.
And Martin's not even their main goalie, but if you watch, open goal. So if you watch the goal, it's very hard to see, but there are these very small translucent blocks that allow you to juke immediately in the direction you need to in order to stop the disc from getting in the goal. So man, look at this stun disparity they have there. It's not too much, it's fairly even. I think we got 20 on one side and what is it, 19 on the other. So they're trying their best to keep the stuns even, but they are smacking the crap out of each other. And it is fantastic to watch them actually bring a lot more aggressiveness to this match.
Possession in general, though, definitely seems to be at a pretty big advantage right now for Team Jack. So the players over here on Gravity are going to need to pick themselves up a little bit better if they want to try to recover here, as we are getting relatively close to we're actually just a little bit past the halfway point in the match now. They move out this time. Well, we did see the players from Jack's holding back, but even though Gravity gets the initial pickup on the puck, they're not really going to be able to hold on to it for very long. The disc goes right back under the control of Jack's, and they're going to send that soaring down the field right over here towards Team Gravity's goal.
I think the Jacks there actually messed up their launch. There's a problem with the high-speed launches is that when you mess them up, you mess up bad, and you have to immediately pull back to a defensive position. Because these are not defensive players. They're very aggressive, so you can immediately assume that's what happened when you see it. Unless the clock's getting very close and the game's very close and you want to run the clock down. Little pump fake, a little protect his head, tosses it up to Slin, who wasn't able to get it because he got popped in the head. The guy's riding his back to pop him again, but he protects his head. You see that green force field on his head. That means he blocked a shot. When you block a shot, it stuns the other player, so it's an important move. We have to call this baiting. When you look a guy right in the eye, make him think that you're not going to block or that you can't even see him, you block at the last second. Easy shot. 2-point dunk. VR Jersey showed him that they are still in this game.
Yeah, it was a great clear coming out from Team Gravity there, and unfortunately for Jax, whether it was distraction by the fact of Team Gravity being able to punch them out or some other factor, they weren't able to launch their goalie quickly enough back to the other side of the arena. So leaving it open, unfortunately, comes back to bite them hard, and we see an easy goal scored by VR Jersey there.
This game is full of high-risk, high-reward mechanics. The problem is if you push too hard on the high-risk stuff, when they fail, you fail hard. And if your guys don't know how to recover, then you're going to end up with giving up an easy goal. There's a lot of the theory craft in this game is trying to figure out how to minimize those risks.
All right, so Team Gravity once again getting the edge early on here. Jack's more so holding back, trying to play defensively, so either messed up their launch again or just decided to go for it. They're going to have to fight, however, to keep this disc out of their side of the arena right now, as we can see them getting very aggressive, trying to punch out members of Team Gravity. It's not going very well. VR Jersey walking right up. The goalie gets in, and he will intercept it right before the toss comes out, and that's going to send the disc right back over to the midfield, and actually a little bit further than that, going way over to the blue side of the arena now.
Open goal. Boop's got a shot. They get there in time.
Quite a few players getting in, and we do see an attempt from Zager to try and block, but goes the wrong way, and so that's going to be an open one for Boop to score once again here now for Team Jack. So far, the only one actually that's been able to score for his team, but it's working as they have a 7-2 lead with under a minute left in the game now.
That was a top striker in the league, as you can also see with the points, up against the lowest rank goalie that we actually have right now. So that was not going to be a 1v1 match he was going to do, but he did his job. It wasn't a three-pointer, it was a two-pointer, which they say is generally what the goalie wants to do. We do hear players argue with that, like you're insanely good goalies. We're like, no, we don't got to convert them into two-pointers. We just don't let them in.
There we go. This time, Jax gets a little bit more aggressive, launching themselves out of the gate. They actually go for disc control here, at the very least, try to send it over to the blue side to waste time and stop Team Gravity from making a comeback.
He's doing some juking on the floor in order to buy himself some time, passing it back and forth to allow people to get in position. He's hoping he can get a cherry picker, but he's not going to get one as Slin actually pushes it up to Boop, and Boop's able to keep it back on their end of the field.
Nice shot from Boop, and that's going to put it right next to Team Gravity's
goal.
Open goal, and there we go. Another one this time. We finally see another player from Team Jax getting onto the board here, and it's going to be Slin that scores this time around. At least 2 points for himself, and with a 9-2 lead, it's looking very dire indeed for Team Gravity. They may just have to get ready for the second round here, as I don't think a comeback's going to be possible.
Now that time he came from the back of the goal, which is a little bit harder to block, because most people don't have the knowledge from being a child and playing other games like soccer to know that you have to cover the backside of the goal. You can come in from any direction. That backboard can actually be used very effectively to that measure. It's a very interesting geometry there, but after playing the game for a little bit, you realize you just aim for the black diamond and get it in.
There we go here now. Let's take a look and see if our blue team,
Oh,
Team
he
Gravity's
catch
going
a
to be able to get
ride.
anything done. We might actually see another goal come out from the members of Jax here, but thankfully this time around, Team Gravity does block it, but even with this nice clear, it's going to be very, very hard to set themselves up for anything. The time is dwindling down more and more and more. They're going to go for one goal, but it's blocked by the goalie from Jackson. With that done, that is going to stop any attempt at all from a comeback on Team Gravity, and as such, Jax will take control of our first round here, going up 1-0 in the series.
Now, the stuns and the disparity for possession is very obvious. These guys had plenty of time in order to set up their shots. But one interesting thing to note there, you actually saw that they was able to pick up a ride right before that shot. He missed the shot. Luckily, they stopped him from getting it. But something to note is that when you have the disc, there's a hard speed limit. You can't go faster than 4.7 meters a second. When you grab it, your speed is almost immediately reduced to 4 if you're not already at it, and you can't boost. However, there's nothing stopping you from hitching a ride on another player, and your high-level players will do that. They'll zip downfield, and if he yells at you, because you've got comms, a mic built right into the headset, you can holler down field and say, "I'm coming, look behind you," and you reach behind and grab him, catch a ride right to the goal.
And now the players with the disc can only move, you said it was 4 meters per second here.
4.7.
Generally, what is a normal player going to be moving around the arena at, as an average? Because I know there's very, very different speeds.
It really depends. Like there are 2 wrist rockets that you use, you can get up to 4 meters per second on your own. You throw yourself off of any object, you can get up to 4 meters per second on your own. If you do a flick throw, you can get a little bit more speed off of it. If you grab a moving object, you get its speed plus 4 meters a second if you push off it as hard as you can. If you use your big booster on your jetpack, on your back, that's 5 meters a second, but it doesn't give you additional speed. Those boosters don't once you go over that speed. And then there's also little finagling tricks that people have, like if someone's coming right at you, let's say he's coming at you 4 meters per second, if you touch his head and immediately flick off in the direction he was going, just under a 1/10 of a second, then you'll actually pick up, instead of an extra 4, you can pick up 5.5 meters a second on top of his speed, which is what people do inside the joust to get down fast. And they actually maintaining control. Avatar actually going for a bounce shot. That's an actually easy place to do it right off of that ramp there. You don't see a lot of it in professional play, though, because it's such a slow shot.
So Team Gravity going to be on defense once again at the beginning of our second round now. They're going to get a nice clue, so that sends it back over into orange team territory. And let's see, VR Trace is going to be a little bit rough for him. He goes for the long-range shot, and it's right in the goal. Knew he was at a crunch for time there, so just went right for the shot, and thankfully didn't panic about it. A nice accuracy, goes right in the goal and puts blue team ahead right at the start. That is going to be Team Gravity that'll take the lead this time.
I think he gave him a little sidearm there, and that's one of the things that VR Jersey's known for. He's the top striker on that team, and he's one of the top strikers in the league and has a really good long shot. And the long shot only gets better in land play. Once you get used to realizing that you don't have to do any lag compensation, it becomes a very natural throw. Some players find ways to min-max that. Some guys put the strap really hard on their hand so that the controller's pushed into you and you can let go completely. Some people just throw the controller.
All right, so another joust, and nice little grab comes out there from Avanter. Big mistake coming up from the members of Team Gravity. Now they're going to have to get their players back very quickly. Look, they completely juke not only the defender, but the goalie too.
No.
Very quickly, we see Jax also getting onto the board here. Still just over only 30 seconds into this game, and we already have 2 goals scored.
Maintaining that level of focus and composure to set up that play while juking out the other enemy, faking them out completely, making them think that you're going for the goal. They completely didn't even notice that Boop was there. An easy shot. He got both of them. I mean, there was an opportunity for VR Jersey to put pressure on Affentower, but not to have that where the goalie also tries to go for the same thing. I can't believe they fell for that. So upsetting.
All right, well, it is only a 2-pointer, though, so for the time being, the players over here on Team Gravity still have the lead to play out, but it may not stay that way for long. With a really good clear coming out from Jax, they'll set themselves up well. Unfortunately, they only have their striker on the upfield right now, but that clear, unfortunately, is not too great, so Boop's going to have an opportunity to swing in, maybe take control of the disc, but no, misses it. One of the defenders for Team Gravity is going to be able to pick it up, and they get a very nice clear, sending it soaring downfield, where currently, Orange doesn't have anyone set up to defend it. They're going to quickly try to change that, though, as they put one of their players back. I believe it's going to be Boop at the moment, trying to defend things for Jax.
Free shot. Oh! Missed it off the backboard, it appears. You gotta watch yourself on that geometry. We mentioned that earlier. Oh, and rejected. That's generally Affenterror's job, is in order to watch the goal and to keep the disc from getting down there into the arena. But he seems to be a little bit distracted today as the players are actually trying to post up around the goal. They're all fighting it out, but they're not sure what's going on. Martin the third looking for an opportunity to toss to Jersey. Jersey completely knocked out, and it gets stolen by Boop. Boop gets knocked out. A real brawl out there on the orange side as they try to panic clear it, and it is just going to bounce around that geometry. Free shot to Boop. Boop gets it out of there, breaks the momentum. And now they got to stack up. You see him catching a ride, protecting his head. You see the green marker. That's where he picked up a stun as he gets on goal and gets ready to snatch it back. And Zogger getting a good clear No,
right
taken by
Affenterre. Of Affenterre there, yeah. But thankfully, the pass over there towards Boop is not too great. So him and VR Jersey are going to fight for this a little bit. Boop is able to clear it though over towards one of his teammates. Not necessarily a pass, but it works out okay. Over to Slim. Can we see the goal?
Beautiful steal.
VR Jersey comes in at the last second, takes it away. However, he's going to panic clear it, so it doesn't go very far. It'll actually bounce right back, right into the members of Team Gravity though, so they still hold control of it. And unless this striker from Jax is going to be able to take it, yeah, it'll go right back down to the orange side for the time being.
He out-predicted the defender this time. That's one of Affenterre's. Any good defender, you actually know based on what's going on in the field which way they're going to clear it, and you just sit there and hide behind one of these islands so they can't see you. And you just hop out, take it, toss it back. Affenterre is one of the best people who can read a field to it. A lot of the midfielders on the pro teams today are like that. And actually seeing them being able to outguess him, I don't know if his head was poking out that they saw him, but guessing the right tunnel to toss it down and not panicking, which we've been seeing them do a lot on their clear, has given them this clear momentum over to this goal. So see if they actually get themselves a shot. Martin's just really a good overall player, so I think he's going to look for an opportunity to pass it to VR Jersey, who wasn't there to get his hands on it. Zogger's pushed up out of the defensive position. Now we got ourselves a little bit of a every man on the disc. Zogger jukes out, gives him an opportunity to pass it up to Jersey. Jersey gets it stolen from him. Slin actually tossing it outfield, and now that has broken the momentum.
We're well over halfway through the game here now, too, so these teams are running out of a little bit of time. Jax is going to have to still look for at least one more goal here if they want to try and take the lead, win this in a 2-0 fashion. Otherwise, we will end up going to a third round, but there's a great opportunity presenting itself here. He tries to bounce it off the backboard right into the goal, but it's going to be a miss, so it's going to send it into the open. It still looks like the members of Jax will have decent control over the disc for right now. The Boop just has to dodge VR Jersey here and now try to get it past the goalie. VR Jersey looking for an attempt to steal. They've got all three players set up, so they'll pass it back down a little bit over here towards their midfielder.
And they're going for a charge. He's going to toss it down to Boop again.
See,
that's what he's doing, same play.
Slin picks it up actually. They move in, they knock out the goalie. Can they score? No, it bounces off something there and ends up just going right back out.
It's what happens when you pass it to Slim and you should have passed it to Boop. I mean, we all know that's what happens. Boop's got a free shot though, fake, and it's in. God, those pump fakes will get you every time.
Slams it right in. It's a slam dunk from Boop, and with that, that is now going to put Jax in the lead. And with just over a minute left, it's also not going to leave a whole lot of time for Team Gravity to strike back here and keep themselves in this tournament.
I've noticed a lot more blocking this round. You see a little green logo around their head that lets you know that they actually blocked something. Normally it's just like a nice bright one around their head when they're protecting themselves. So you mean a lot of successful blocks, which is not something we have. It just shows up as a stun. But I feel like the reason that they're blocking so much more is because the first game you had such a high stunning round that everybody's getting a little bit twitchy. I think that's why you're seeing panics, a lot of mistakes, people looking around instead of throwing the disc because they're so used to getting their bell rung. Zogger actually with a nice clear, covers his head to protect himself from retaliation, but Slin gets the recovery as it bounces off. He was in a great position to get that recovery there. It almost feels like luck as he goes for a backboard shot. That's that little triangle, that black triangle, the one that's closest to your position where you're coming from that angle. If you hit in there, you have a high likelihood that it's going to bounce in the goal, and most goalies can't stop that. I think there's one in the league who's really good at it.
Yeah, but that's exactly what we see happening there. Slin just sinks it right inside. The goalie doesn't even know what to do with himself. Unfortunately, he's not able to stop it, and so that establishes an even better lead here now for the players over on Jax. They're looking good. They're looking good to move on to the grand finals here. And unfortunately for our friends over on Team Gravity, well, they've fallen behind. And they're only going to have a little bit of time to try and at least score a three-pointer here to maybe tie this up and take it into overtime.
Well, if there's one person who can do it, it's VR Jersey. He's great with the long shot, but they have to get control of the disc. They keep losing the joust, and they don't have control. He's got a chance to knock him out. No, he blocked his head again. That's the thing with the low latency places. You have all day long to protect your head. You don't have to do it as early as you have to do in regular online play. So these guys they're just baiting him, it feels like, at this point. Yeah. Running the clock down, getting a chance to go for a shot. Boop's like, well, if you're going to give me a free shot, I'm going to go for it. I know Zogger's not good at stopping me. He likes to hang out in goal instead of using those invisible blocks that we talked about earlier. Oh, he gets the steal. Nope, don't pull away, Zogger. Protect your goal.
That'll go over towards Slin here now, who takes control of it. But once again, I believe he's going to try to slow play this. Moves in, looks for an opportunity to score, but it's going to be way off center there. Just bounces off the floor. Slin will pick it back up. Can he dive it down? No, he's at a weird angle right now. He's not really going to have a great opportunity to score, but his teammate might. And there you go. It's Boop to sink it in instead.
Coffin nail driver on that one, too. Just full force from a side angle. That is a very tough shot to make, and at that speed, it's just mean.
Absolutely. So you can see the clock. There are only 3 seconds remaining, and with that goal just being scored now for our orange team, Team Jax was going to think it's a pretty safe bet to say that they'll be able to win this round and take control of the series in a 2-0 fashion.
Well, they're the #1 seed, and they are very dangerous. However, Martin's team is the #4 seed, so this isn't a really strong matchup for them. The strongest matchup is the Dean team. However, Traversity's team has actually given them lots of trouble before and has beaten them in little sprints that they've done before. I think they actually said that they beat them in like a semifinal or like a quarterfinal in one of the VR Challenger runs. This is when Boop wasn't playing though, so a lot of people consider that as that it wasn't counting. So we'll have to see. I know they have the capability. Even Slyn and Boop admit to themselves that Ifinity is a dangerous person when she's on point. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if they even make it that far. Because for our next round, we're going to have Traversity versus Ding, right?
Yeah, and that is going to be our secondary match here now, as we'll be jumping into that in just a little bit here. We'll have some different players loading in. It'll take us a few minutes to get to that, but a pretty good first match, right? We saw some good play, specifically from Boop, very aggressive and very tricky to get around there, as he was really good at securing those goals at close range, too.
We definitely saw their aggressive joust. I have to ask him later. It's very hard to tell because it happens so fast. You generally have to actually be in the game to know what kind of joust they're using. From the speed that they were moving, at least a 4-man joust. They might have been doing a 5-man, but it felt like a 4-man since most people in the European League do 3s, since it's a lot harder to mess up. If you mess up a 4-man joust, you end up stuck inside the tunnel for a little bit, and you have to like hang back.
And you want to explain the concept of the 4 and the 5-man joust as well,
so
for the newer folks at home.
Yeah, as you know, there are only 3 people on each team. So when I say 4-man and 5-man joust, what it is as someone zips past you on your own team that has launched off you, you can grab them and launch again, effectively as if you had 4 or 5 people. It's very tricky and very easy to mess up, especially if the other player moves around in their play space, because that can throw you into some of the islands or maybe into the tunnel. But if you can stack up real quick, it's a little Newton foos, so to speak, just playing around with the physics. But you can get yourself a lot of speed. Right now, the top team in the league, they regularly get up to 38 meters a second doing that.
Which is very, very quick.
It is incredibly fast and unstoppable.
We were seeing in the warm-up, too. It's probably very hard to accomplish this in a game itself, but we've seen some players able to get so much speed that they can actually go in, secure the disc, grab onto a teammate to hitch a ride, and then essentially just take it right into the goal within like 3 seconds of coming out of the launch gate.
Hitching a ride or catching a train, sometimes the players like to call it, but those don't happen too often that you can send somebody downfield that fast, because generally what happens, you send 2 players up to which are your main strikers when they're trying to launch your goalie. They both run up on top of each other. This guy's coming in, does that move I told you where you launch off of his head, pick up extra speed, and then what it is, your goalie's coming towards the 2 converging players, so then he then hits his head and is able to launch lightning fast out the other end.
Gotcha.
So whenever you have a guy running for the disc, like he's going here, going either 4 or 4.7, hold on the disc, he's like, well, I can't catch any more speed, and they're going to catch me because they can go at least 5, and if they jump off each other, they can go even faster than that. I'm kind of stuck here waiting for somebody to punch me in the head. So you only can have 2 guys go up and get down there, maybe a maximum of like 11 or 12, depending on how fast he was already going when he launched. So it's very rare that you can get your hands on a train. If you can catch a train and the goalie's not in position, it's very, very bad news.
Yeah, absolutely.